With games like Mud Runner and Snow Runner becoming more popular, it was inevitable that we would see more games like them in the AAA and indie world. And some of them may not be the hyper-realistic type that the runner games have become known for. Some people may wish to explore an off-road environment without a colossal hindrance of mud and snow that will swallow up their vehicle. What we are covering today is one such game, taking the off-road sandbox idea and running with a lot past just trucking. Here is my review of Off the Road Unleashed for the Nintendo Switch. When it comes to gameplay, OTR Unleashed is a sandbox exploration game with lots of driving, flying, and collectathon going on. Now first of all, this was originally a mobile game and is very different from that original entry. Let's break down the differences. Both versions have the same maps, though mobile does have a few more vehicles available for purchase in its roster than Unleashed does. We've also got a dramatically different currency and acquisition system. On mobile, it was freemium, featuring currency that was required for a ton of different elements. Buying vehicles, repairing damage, upgrades, new maps, and more. It even had the vast majority of its vehicles behind mastering its karma system or buying them with real money, aka microtransactions. But Unleashed is a great example of a mobile port done right. Microtransactions and the vast majority of the currency system have been completely removed. Upgrades are no longer in the game. Prices for vehicles are significantly reduced, repairing damage is completely free back at your garage, and maps are unlocked through game progression rather than being bought with currency. When I tested around the mobile entry while going through Unleashed, they felt like two different games. Now let's move on to how game progression works. You're dropped into a huge sandbox map free to explore anything and everything. Each map has gears around the map placed like Mario coins. This is your currency, which is used to get new vehicles. These vehicles can be found around the map inside garages you can open and unlock as spawn points, or as broken down wrecks you use repair kits to fix up and unlock for driving. The map itself has a ton of exploration involved with minigames and challenges you can take part in, flags to help you learn each map, and lots of hidden treasure boxes, repair kits, and key cards. The boxes are the biggest item of interest as they will give you gears and repair kits in addition to customization parts for the vehicles. Speaking of, this isn't Snow or Mud Runner where all you can drive are cars and trucks. You can drive them, but you can also buy licenses to drive boats, planes, helicopters, and even a train in the later levels. All of these different vehicle types also have missions and challenges exclusive to that vehicle. All of these collectibles and missions are also tied to progress. Whenever you collect flags, open boxes, or finish challenges, you gain percentage towards that map's milestones. Once you get to a certain point, you will unlock new features like boxes showing up on your map or unlocking new maps to explore. The basic gameplay loop here is going into a map, finding collectibles and vehicles to get that 50 to 60% progress and unlocking the next map. But getting there with all of these vehicle types gives you a lot of flexibility. While some of the challenges and minigames require a certain vehicle type, many of them don't, and you can complete them in a lot of different ways. When building a bridge or road with wood and metal, you can haul it in a trailer attached to a truck. You can also haul the material through the air with a helicopter, or you can bypass the bridge entirely by using your helicopter's winch to literally just carry the car across the water. There's actually a hilarious amount of content you can use a helicopter to bypass. Many of the warehouses that keep a bunch of hidden repair kits, gears, and minigame arcade cabinets have keycard locks on the doors. But on the roof is always a lockless way in, so why search for a key when you can just land on the roof and explore it from there? Though out of all of these game features we've been talking about, my favorite part of the game is the winch, something Mud and Snow Runner players will immediately recognize. The winch is attached to literally every vehicle that you can drive, and it showcases the greatness of the tool, but also how arcade style this game is. The The winch can be used to pull pretty much any vehicle anywhere within reach. You get a slow motion sequence as you place it, and it can pull you pretty much anywhere. You could have an enormous and heavy truck traveling up the side of a volcano without a road, and it's completely fine because you have the super winch that can pull you anywhere. Outside of the hilariously unrealistic winch, the game overall has a very casual and arcade feel to it. The mud meant to mimic the runner games doesn't really get your vehicles stuck. You can drive underwater and suffer no damage as long as you get up in time, and even your repairs to vehicles you damage can be done endlessly. This is incredibly convenient and lets you do some really fun and wacky things without worrying about having to recover at the garage. Now, as all of this stuff comes together, let's talk about content and length. This is going to be a pretty lengthy game even if you do what I did with using helicopters to get flags in boxes for quick and fast progress. Now I say fast, but even with doing that for most of the maps at the start, it still took me well over 17 hours to unlock all of the different areas, get them to at least 50% completion, and dig around for enough repair kits to unlock the special Western Star 4900 that is featured on the game's artwork. If you did all of that mainly with trucks and cars, that 17 hours would probably look more like 25 to 30. Next up is presentation. Visually, the game looks pretty good. Models are nice and smooth, and cockpit view has a fair amount of detail. It is comparable to the high and ultra graphic settings of the mobile release. Performance is also pretty well done. I did find a few spots that had some frame drops, and those drops did kind of freeze the game up for a few seconds, but most of the game easily ran above 30 non-stop. With that out of the way, let us dive into battery life. OTR Unleashed gives the original and Switch Lite models a range of about 3.5 to 6 hours, and the Redboxer V2 2019 model a range of 5.5 to almost 8 hours. In conclusion, OTR Unleashed is an arcadey sandbox game with a ton of fun with its variety of vehicles and different ways you can accomplish the same objectives. Now on the downside, the roster of vehicles isn't quite as large as the mobile version, and there are some freezy FPS drops every so often. But anybody wanting a free roam off-roading game with trucks, boats, and helicopters will find a fun little adventure with a ton of stuff to find and do. Reviews to go. Rates Off the Road Unleashed for the Nintendo Switch an 8 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.